Good morning children, I welcome you all to today's video class. In today's video class, I am going to explain you an important grammar topic, that is sentences. You are going to learn more and more about sentences, its kinds and its types in today's video class. Okay children, to begin with, what is sentence? Whenever you speak, whenever you write, you use words in groups. So such groups of words which completes the sense. See, when we speak, when we write, we use words. But we use words in groups or in sets. Such groups of words which makes complete sense is called a sentence. So, a group of words that completes the sense is called a sentence. All group of words cannot be called as sentence. A group of words to be called as a sentence, it should complete the sense. That's important children. It should have its own subject. That group of words should have a finite verb. Then it should complete the sense. For example, suppose the sun rises in the east. I call this group of words as a sentence because this sentence is consisting of a subject, the sun, and this is subject part, this is a predicate. In the predicate we have a finite verb rises and all other words also we have. So when a group of words has a subject of its own and a finite verb, and when it completes the sentence, then we call such a group of words as sentence. Okay children, now I hope all of you get the meaning for sentence. Okay, then what are the constituents of a sentence? Or a sentence is consisting of the following elements. A sentence, as I told you, is a group of words. Then every sentence has some words in it. So such words only make a sentence a meaningful one. Yeah. So every sentence has two grammatical parts. Parts of a sentence. Second. Parts of a sentence. Okay. Every sentence has two grammatical units. Every sentence has two grammatical units. What are those units? Subject and predicate. Subject and predicate. So every sentence, every statement has two grammatical units or parts. Two grammatical units or two grammatical parts. They are subject part and predicate part. Every sentence is consisting of subject and a predicate part. What is subject? The doer of the action. So better you can call subject as a naming part. Subject is a naming part because it names the subject. Therefore we call subject as a naming part. Then what is predicate? It is a telling part. Predicate is a telling part because it tells us about the subject. It tells us the status of the subject. It tells us the position of the subject. It tells us all about the subject. Therefore, we call this predicate as a telling part. So children, every sentence has two grammatical units or parts, subject and predicate. Subject is called a naming part because it names the subject, names the doer of the action. Telling part, predicate is a telling part because it tells something about the subject. Okay, next. Yes, what are all the constituents of a subject, or what can be the subject of a sentence? Next. What can be the subject of a sentence? As now you know, subject is a naming part. It's a doer of the action. Then who can be the doer of the action? Or what can be the subject of a sentence? Let me explain. What can be the subject of a sentence? This is important question. What can be the subject of a sentence? A noun can be the subject of a sentence. Okay. A pronoun can be the subject of a sentence. Good. Then an infinitive can be the subject of a sentence. Gerund can also be the subject of a sentence. Sometimes participle also can be the subject of a sentence. Participles. See, look at children. So a noun can be the subject of a sentence. A pronoun can be the subject of a sentence. An infinitive can be the subject of a sentence. A gerund can be the subject of a sentence. Participle can also be the subject of a sentence. Okay, let me give you one example for each part of a subject. How can a noun be the subject of a sentence? India is my country. See this sentence. India is my country. Here, India is a subject. It's a naming part. So, India is a proper noun. So, a noun can be the subject of a sentence. Okay, children? Good. Second, pronoun. We are Indians. We are Indians. We is a pronoun. First person, plural. So, it is a pronoun, subject part of a sentence. So, a pronoun can be the subject of a sentence. Third, infinitive. To earn is human. See, to earn. It is an infinitive, the base form of the verb preceded by to. That group is called a infinitive. So, here to earn is a human. This is a subject part of a sentence. So, an infinitive can be the subject. Then, gerund. Swimming is a good exercise. Swimming is a good exercise. Swimming is a good exercise. In this sentence, swimming is a gerund. It is a subject of a sentence. Sometimes participles can also be the subject of a sentence. For example, drowning man cried for help. Drowning man cried for help. Here, drowning man is a subject. So, drowning is a participle. Participle, what do you mean by participle, or what is participle? It is a verbal adjective. It does the function of an adjective. A man who was drowning, that's called a drowning man. So, it is a participle, present participle, and here it is a subject of a sentence. So, a noun can be the subject, a pronoun can be the subject, an infinitive can be the subject, a gerund can be the subject, and participles can also be the subject. Could you follow me, children? Could you understand? So, what can be the subject of a sentence? If you are asked, immediately you have to give the following answers: a noun, a pronoun, an infinitive, a gerund, and participles. All these things can be the subject of a sentence. Okay, next. What is the other part of a sentence? Predicate. Yeah. In all these sentences, India is a subject. Is my country is a predicate. Predicate is a telling part, as I told you. Okay. We are Indians. In this sentence, we is a subject. Are Indians. They are predicate. In the third sentence, to is subject. Is human is a predicate. Swimming is a good exercise. Swimming is a subject. Is a good exercise. It's a predicate. Drowning man is a subject. Cried for help is a predicate. Here you can have another question. See, like this. What can be the subject of a sentence? In the same way, what are all the elements of a predicate? I will enlist. Let me enlist all those things. I will give you all these elements of a predicate one by one. Okay. See, what are all the elements of a predicate? A predicate, the most important element, as I hope you know all, is verb. Yeah, very important. What can be the elements of a predicate? Or the elements of predicate. Elements of predicate part of a sentence. What constitute the elements of a predicate? See, a verb. Verb is the most important element of a predicate. Without verb, you cannot imagine a sentence. A single verb can be a sentence. But without verb, you cannot imagine, not frame. You cannot imagine a sentence. Okay, fine. Next, object. Object can be another optional element of a sentence. This object can be object of two types, a direct object and an indirect object. I will give you example for each one. Next, adverb. This is generally called adjunct. This can be the part of or element of a sentence. So, sometimes you may have adjectives also. So, these are all the important elements of a predicate part. Sometimes you may have a preposition. So, predicate part is a telling part of a sentence. It tells something about the subject. It says the work done by the subject. Okay. The most important element of a predicate is, the essential part of a predicate is verb, an action word. Without verb, you cannot imagine a sentence. Let me give one example for each element. Okay, to begin with verb. Birds build. Birds build nest in trees. Yeah. Birds build nests in trees. Here birds, subject part of a sentence, then build nest in trees is a predicate part. Okay. In this predicate, build is a verb. It is a finite verb. Build is a finite verb. Birds build what? If you ask question, then you will get an answer. Nest is an object. And in trees, adjunct. Adjunct. Where do birds build nest? They build nest in trees. So it's an answer for the place where. So it's an adverb of place. So here it functions as an adjunct. Okay, fine. Second sentence. A cold wind blew last night. See here an object. He reads novels. He reads novels. In the sentence, he is a subject part of a sentence. Reads is a finite verb. This is totally predicate. In the predicate, reads is a verb. He reads what? Novels is an object. Okay. So, a predicate part may be consisting of a verb and an object. But there is no need. Optional. It is an optional element. Without object also you can frame sentences. For example, bird flies. This is a complete sentence. It's a statement. Bird, subject, flies, verb. So, a sentence may be consisting of subject and verb alone. So, the object, adjunct, adjectives, they are all the optional elements. We use such elements in a sentence to give more information. For that purpose only, we use all such elements. Okay, fine. But the most important element of a predicate part is verb. Without verb, we cannot imagine. See, get out. Go. You know, go is a verb, finite verb. The verb itself is a sentence. Here, you go. You is an understood. It is an understood. Subject there, here the subject you is understood. So a single verb can be a sentence. But without verb, you cannot frame, you cannot imagine a sentence. Okay. So, a predicate part, the most important element of a predicate part is verb. I have given here two examples with object also. Sometimes you may have more than one object. If it is so, one is called a direct object, another one is called an indirect object. See, I will give you one more example. He gave me a pen. Look here, children. He is a subject, so a subject part. Gave me a pen is a predicate part. Gave is a finite verb. It is in the past form. He gave what? A pen. This is a direct object. So the answer which you get for the question what is called a direct object. To whom was it given? Me. So it is an indirect object. So sometimes you may have direct as well as indirect object in the predicate part of a sentence. Okay? Nice. Then adverb. Third one. He came yesterday. He came yesterday. He is subject part, and then came yesterday is a predicate part of a sentence. In the predicate part, came is a V1, here V2, because it refers to past tense. Come, came. He came, sentence completes, it sends. But we want to give more information. When did he come? Then yesterday. So it gives an additional information. This is called an adjunct. Actually, this is an adverb of time because it answers the question when. Here it is an adjunct. It functions as an adjunct. This is a functional label. Adjunct is a functional label. Nominal label is adverb. Don't confuse children. Every words, all parts of speech, you know that 8 parts of speech. What are those 8 parts of speech? Noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction and intersections. They are naming labels. But when they perform different functions in a sentence, they will get what is called a functional label. Yeah. So this adjunct is a functional label. Actually, it is a nominal label is adverb. Okay, fine. So here subject, verb and then adverb. Then adjectives. He is well. He is well. It's good. He is well. It's good. See these two sentences. His subject is well is a predicate part. See, this is a be form of the verb. Here it is used as a main verb. Well is an adjective. It's good. It's a subject part. It's good is a predicate. His is the main, actually it is a be form of the verb, but here it is used as a main verb. Good is an adjective. Okay, fine. Then preposition. I'll give you one example for preposition. A bird is on the branches of a tree, or on the branch of a tree. See this sentence, a bird is a subject. This is a predicate part. This is subject part, this is a predicate part. This is the be form of the verb, here it is used as a main verb. The bird is where? If you ask us question, on the branch of a tree. Predicate, this is a prepositional phrase. And on is the main preposition. Here it is used as a complement to comes. But it is preceded by a preposition, therefore it is used as an adjunct. Okay, fine. So in this way, predicate part of a sentence consisting of the following elements, that is the verb. The verb may be transitive or intransitive. The verb may be finite or non-finite. Okay, if it is a transitive verb, it is followed by an object. If it is an intransitive verb, it may be followed by some other elements. Okay. So the most important element of a predicate part is verb, then object, then adjunct, then adjectives and then prepositions. Okay, I hope now children you are very clear about the sentences, its structure. So sentence is a group of words. Such group of words has its own subject and finite verb that completes the sentence. Such a group of words are called sentences. Every sentence, every statement has two grammatical parts, subject part and predicate part. Subject part is called a naming part. It just names the doer of the action, or it names the subject. Then predicate part is the telling part of a sentence because it tells something about the subject. And what can be the subject? I explained you and I gave you one example. And what can be the predicate? What can be the elements of a predicate part of a sentence? Okay, fine. Next, let me explain the kinds of sentences. I hope all of you know. What are all the kinds of sentences? Do you know? Yeah. Kinds and types. What is the difference between kinds and types of sentences? Is there any confusion? Nothing. It is very clear. Kinds of sentences are done by the grammarian based on the function of a sentence. Based on the function of a sentence, sentences are classified into 4 types. What are those 4 types? I will explain one by one. Pay your good attention, children. See, here I will show you charts which is consisting of some basic elements. See, sentences are of 4. They are called kinds of sentences. See, sentences, statements, interrogatives, imperatives and exclamatory. So they are called, or otherwise this is called a functional classification of sentences. Based on the function, sentences are classified into 4 types. They are statements, interrogatives, imperatives and exclamatory. So these classification is done purely based on the function of a sentence. Okay, fine. What is statement? What is interrogatives? What is imperatives? And what are exclamatory sentences? I will give you explanations as well as examples. Don't worry, children. You will get all these things in today's video class. What is statement? So, kinds of sentences. Kinds of sentences. So, this is otherwise called, don't forget this glossary, functional classification of sentences. Functional classification of sentences. This functional classification of sentences is called kinds of sentences. There are 4. First one, statement. It states something. It declares something. Therefore, we call these types of sentences as statements. It states something. It states about the action of the subject, and as it states or it declares something, we call these sentences as statements. We call these sentences as statement. These statements can be positive or these statements can be negative. Yeah, positive statements may be there. Yeah, negative statements are also may be there. For example, I will give you some examples. I come from Australia. I come from Australia. This is a sentence. This is called a statement because it states something. Where are you from? I am from Australia. I come from Australia. So it states something, therefore this is called a statement. See, the sun rises in the east. This is also called a statement. This is a declarative sentence because it declares something. That is, the sun rises in the east. She lives in France. She lives in France. Another example for statement. Then these statements are used to state something. We use these statements to declare something. These statements can be in the present form. These statements can be in the past form. These statements can be in the future form. That's important. For example, I will give you one example for each one. He comes to school regularly. I hope children, you read your lessons regularly. You like to come to school regularly, isn't it? Okay, fine. So, my father goes for walking every day. It's a habitual action, can be expressed in statements. So, every day, usually, daily, often, frequently, every day, every month, every week, today. So, all these time markers are used to explain or to form statements in the simple present tense. Okay, so habitual actions are expressed in the simple present tense. See, he comes to school regularly. Then past tense. He completed his work last week. So this is an example for statement. Here the final verb is in the past form. He completed his work last week. And then future, he will complete his project next week. He will complete his project next week. So this sentence is said to be in the future tense, future form. The form of the verb is in the future tense. Here the form of the verb is in the past tense. Here the form of the verb is in the simple present. So your statements can be an affirmative. The affirmative sentences or the positive sentences can express us the tenses also. It may be in the simple tenses, it may be in the continuous tenses, it may be in the perfect tenses, it may be in the perfect continuous tenses. Okay, and they may have all types of verbs also. They may have be verbs, they may have verbs, they may have do verbs also. Okay, so they are called positive sentences or they are called affirmative sentences. Every chance is there for negative sentences also. I will give you one or two examples for negative sentences in the statements. So how can you frame negative sentences? By using negative marker, not. Then semi-negatives, never. By using these negative markers, you can frame negative sentences. Let me give you some examples for negative sentences. See, don't, doesn't, didn't. Okay, see the example. I don't study journalism. I don't study journalism. In this example, this is an example for statement. It's a negative sentence because it gives you negative idea. The expression is in the negative form. He hasn't got a first class degree. For example, he hasn't got a first class degree. Okay. So, a statement can be positive, a statement can be negative. So, if it is a positive statement, it gives positive idea. If a statement is negative, it gives negative meaning or negative idea. Negation. How can we form negation? By keeping not or never with the verb in a sentence. Okay. So, negative sentences are formed in such a way. Is plus not isn't. He is not here. Are plus not aren't. Was plus not wasn't. Were plus not weren't. Have plus not haven't. Has plus not hasn't. Had plus not hadn't. Do plus not don't. Does plus not doesn't. Did plus not didn't. Will plus not won't. Would plus not wouldn't. Can plus not can't. Could plus not couldn't. So by using all these negative forms of the verbs, we can frame negative statements. Understand, children? Could you follow me? Yeah, very nice. So, in this way, statements are generally framed or formed in English. Okay, fine. So, let me sum up statement is a kind of a sentence. It states something. It declares something. Therefore, we call this as a statement. A statement begins with a subject and followed by a verb. A statement begins with a subject and followed by a verb. It ends with a full stop. So, we put full stop at the end of a sentence. A statement states something. Every statement begins with a subject. So, every statement has its own subject. The statement may be positive, the statement may be negative. If it is a positive sentence, means it gives positive idea. If it is negative, means it gives negation or gives negative ideas. Okay, fine. Next types of kind of sentences, imperatives. Wow. Let me explain imperatives. So, first type statement, second type imperative. Imperatives. They are also called commands. They are also called request. They are also called order and wishes. Okay, fine. So, imperative sentences are a kind of sentences. In such types of sentences, the sentences may issue an order. The sentence may make a command. The sentence can go for request. The sentence sometimes may please somebody in the form of wishes. So that is the nature of these imperatives. For example, I will give you some examples. Stand at ease. Stand at ease. This is an example for imperative sentence. Speak the truth. Speak the truth always. Okay. Mind your own business. Mind your own business. Then please come tomorrow. Please come tomorrow. Then keep left. They are all the examples for these imperative sentences. So an imperative sentence can be a sentence which gives an order. Open the door. It is an order. See? Open the door. Is an example for order. Open the door. Close the door. Keep it there. Rub the board. Open the book. Read it. Close it. They are all the example for order. It may be a command also. An imperative sentence may be a command. How can you, what is the difference between order and a command? Command cannot be re-examined or command cannot be reconsidered. Once for a while it is to be executed. Shoot him down. Fire. Fire. A command issued by the supreme authority of the regiment. This is called a command because it cannot be reconsidered. But order can be reconsidered. That is the difference. So, an imperative sentence is a type of kind of a sentence which makes an order, which makes a command, which makes a request, which gives instruction, which gives directions also. So, a sentence that gives commands, a sentence that makes an order, a sentence that gives a request, a sentence that gives instruction, a sentence that gives direction is called imperative sentences. So, should this is an example for command. Then example for request, see, please come tomorrow. Please help me. Please give me some food. I am so hungry. They are the example for request. So, order, command, request, then instruction, speak the truth. Maybe in the form of an advice. Maybe in the form of an advice. Keep left always. It's an instruction. Leave margin on the left hand side of the answer sheet when the instruction is given by the teacher. Do all the sums is instruction by the teacher. Leave one line in between two answers is instruction given by the teacher in the classroom. Okay, fine. Then instruction, the direction, go straight. Suppose these sorts of directions are given by the police officials, traffic police. When people don't know the way to go, people don't know the way to reach the place, at the time they may be guided by the traffic police by some set of commands. They are called directions. Okay. So these types of sentences are called imperative sentences. Imperative sentences always begin with the verb. That is important. They begin with finite verbs. They don't have any subject. This order is issued by somebody and it is received by somebody. Okay, fine. Then third type of sentence is interrogative sentence. Third type is interrogative sentences. What do you mean by interrogative sentences? Where we use interrogative sentences? What are the nature of interrogative sentences? And see, these charts gives you an idea. Imperatives. And imperatives may be an order. An imperative may be command. An imperative may be request. An imperative may be advice. An imperative may be direction. An imperative may be instruction. See, these are all the examples for imperative sentences. An imperative sentence may be an order. An imperative sentence may be a command. An imperative sentence may be request. An imperative sentence may be in the form of an advice. An imperative sentence may be in the form of direction. An imperative sentence may be in the form of instructions. Okay, fine. So these are all the examples for imperative sentences. Okay, children. Then what is the third one? Third one is interrogative sentences. You know that interrogative sentences, third kind. Interrogative sentences. What do you mean by interrogation? A sentence that raises a question. A sentence that helps us to frame question is called interrogative sentences. So you should know the definition. So a sentence that asks, sentence that asks, a sentence that asks a question. A sentence that asks a question is called interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence. A sentence that asks a question is called interrogative sentence. So interrogative sentences are of two types. You know that. What are all the two types of sentences? One is WH questions sentences. Another one is verbal questions. Questions are of two types. Questions are of two types. One is WH questions. Another one is verbal questions. Another one is verbal questions. So we have two types of question sentences or interrogative sentences. One is WH questions. Why do we call these questions as WH questions? Because all such types of question sentences begin with a WH question word. Therefore, they are called WH questions. What, which, when, where, who, whose, how many, how much, how far, how long. Okay. They are called question words, interrogative words. They are called interrogative pronouns. They help us to frame interrogative sentences. These questions are called WH questions. And we have one more types of interrogative sentences. They are called verbal questions because they begin with the verbs. So these questions are framed with the help. Without verb, you cannot frame a sentence. But these questions begin with verbs, therefore they are called verbal questions. Are you clever? Are you intelligent? Is it long? Such types of questions. I will give you example for each and every type. So they are called interrogative sentences. These sentences help us to ask, or a sentence that asks a question. A sentence that asks a question is called interrogative sentence. So interrogative sentences are of two types, two in kinds. One is WH questions, another one is verbal questions. Let me explain each type. Okay. WH questions. WH questions. What, when, where, which, how many, how long, how much, how far, who, whom, whose. Okay. So WH questions, these questions which begins with all these question word is called WH questions. For example, what? What's your name? What's your name? It's an example. What's time now by your watch? What is your favorite subject? What's your favorite dish? What's your favorite beverage? Okay. So what? What's your father? What's your mother? What's your brother? Many questions you can frame. Okay, fine. What? Next, when? See, when do you come from class? When will he go to Chennai? When are you going to have your breakfast? When do you have your breakfast usually? When do you have your next class? When do you have your next video class? So many questions you can frame by using this when. When do you have? When did you have? When will it come? When will it go? Okay. So many questions. When are you going to finish this work? So by using this when, you can frame this many questions. Another example, where. See, what, when, next where. Where is your house? Where is your house? Where is your school? Where do you keep your bag? Where do you want to go? Where do you go regular? Where do you go to? So where do you go? Like where do you like to go? So many questions. Where is your friend's residence? Where is the park? Where is the vehicle stand? Where is the library? Where is the swimming pool? Where do you want to go? Where do you have your supper? Where do you keep your books? So many questions. Okay, fine. Then which? Which is your pen? Which is your pen? Which is your favorite writer? Which is your favorite beverage? Which is your place here? Which is your classroom? So many questions. Okay. Or which is your pen? Which is your pencil? Like that. Then how? How are you? See sentences. How? How are you? How is the day? How is the weekend? How is your father? How is your mother? How are your family members? Okay. So this is how we use to frame imperative, to frame interrogative sentences like this. How many pens do you have? How many pencils do you have in the box? How many? How many pencils do you have? How many pencils do you have in the box? How many pens do you have in the box? Okay. How long do you read lessons every day? How long will it take to reach Chennai? How long do you stay in the hostel? How long will you stay in the hostel? How long do you want me to wait for you? So many questions you can frame. How long? How long is it? How long do you want me to wait? How long do you read novels? How long do you read books? How long do you read books? Like that. How much do you want to have? How much do you want to spend? This how much, how many, both are different, children. We use this how many to refer to countable things. We use this how much to refer to uncountable things. How much we use to refer to money. How much oil do you want to purchase? How much water do you want to take? So uncountable things. To refer to such uncountable things, you can use this question word how much. To refer to countable things, you can use the question word how many. How far normally it refers to the distance. How far is it Chennai from here? How far is it your residence from your school? Like that you can frame questions. Okay, then to refer to persons. To refer to persons. Who, whom, and then whose. Who is he? He is my friend. Who is your class teacher? Who is your principal? Who is your, who is your best friend in the class? You can ask many questions like this. Who is the author of this book? Who is the poet of this poem? Okay, fine. Then whom? Whom do you want to meet? Whom do you want to meet? Whom do you want to invite for your birthday party? Whom do you want to send these greetings? Okay, fine. Whose purse is this? Whose charts are these? Okay. So they are called a WH questions because these questions begins with a WH question words. Therefore, we call them as WH questions. Then another type of questions we have, those questions are called verbal questions. Verbal questions. Because all such questions begins with the verbs. Is it long? Are you clever? Were you there? See? Were you there? Is it an apple? Do you have it? Do you like it? Did you complete it? So, with the help of verbs, we can frame these questions. Therefore, these questions are called verbal questions. So, with the help of be verbs, is, am, are, was, and where, you can frame questions. Is it here? Was it there? Are you intelligent? Are you a student of this Trinity institution? You can frame questions. Then helping verbs, do, does, and did. Do you like it? Did you finish it? Did you see him? Okay, so does he come to school today? Like that. So do, does, and did. With the help of these helping verbs, you can frame verbal questions. Then you can frame with the help of the have, has and had, they are called perfect verbs. They are also called possessive verbs. With the help of such verbs also you can frame sentences. Do you have it? Did you have it? Okay, like that. Have you had it? Have you had your lunch? Like that you can frame sentences. You can frame imperative, interrogative sentences. Okay, fine. Other than that, you can use models also for to frame questions. Will, shall, can. Can you do it? Can you speak English well? Can you go fast? Can you swim in the river? So all are examples for interrogative sentences. They are called verbal questions because these questions begins with the verbs. Therefore, they are called verbal questions. See, so verbal questions, we use such types of verbs to frame sentences. Therefore, they are called verbal questions. Okay, next, exclamatory sentences, the fourth one. Exclamatory sentences. What do you mean by exclamatory sentences? Exclamatory sentences. Why do we call them as exclamatory sentences? When we use these exclamatory sentences, a sentence that expresses a strong or sudden feeling, a sentence that expresses a sentence that expresses a sentence that expresses a strong or sudden, a sentence that expresses a strong or sudden feeling such as surprise. Surprise can be expressed through exclamatory sentences. Joy can be expressed through exclamatory sentences. Anger can be expressed through exclamatory sentences, etc. So when you get excited of seeing something, sometimes you may get excited when you hear something. Sometimes you may get excited when you happen to do certain things. So when you hear something, you may get excited. When you see something, you may get excited. When you do something, you may get excited. At such times, you express your feelings through these exclamatory sentences. Therefore, they are called exclamatory sentences. A form of an exclamation, a form of an expression when you get excited. Okay, to indicate such exclamatory expressions, we use these exclamation marks like this. This is called exclamation marks. Okay, fine. I'll give you one or two examples for these exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory sentences. Many of you know how to form exclamatory sentences. In spite, let me give you some examples for exclamatory sentences. I'll give you. See. How long it is. How long it is. See, when you state this type of sentences, you feel that you get excited of such things. At that time only you expresses this. Look how nice it is. Look how nice it is. So, hurrah! We have won the match. Hurrah! We have won the match. Alas! Alas! I lost all my property. I have lost all my property. Hooray! How long it is? Bravo! Well done. So these sorts of expressions shows that you are excited expressions. So such sentences are called exclamatory sentences. So normally we use these types of sentences when we get excited. And see, one or two examples I would like to give from your text. See, there they have given for examples for these sentences. Let me read out the examples from your text itself. How wonderful the performance is. How wonderful the performance is. See, one thing you can find in these exclamatory sentences, in all these exclamatory sentences, mostly the subject is followed by the verb at the end of a sentence. Mostly you can find the subject followed by the verb, or both subject and verb at the end of a sentence. See, how wonderful the performance is. Joy. How wonderful. How wonderful the performance is. Then exclamatory mark. Similarly, alas, he is no more. Alas, he is no more. So example for exclamatory sentences. And how splendid it is. How splendid the smell of the rose is. How splendid the smell of rose is. So exclamatory. How high it is. How long is it? So you can frame. So he exclaimed with joy. He exclaimed with sorrow. Normally we use such types of expressions to make it more alive. Okay, children? So let me sum it up. So far, now you learned the kinds of sentences. In the first part of this video class, you have learned more and more and all about kinds of sentences. This classification of sentences is purely done by the grammarian based on the function of a sentences. Therefore, they are called a functional classification of sentences. Statements, otherwise it is called a declarative sentences, and then in imperative sentences, otherwise they are called how can we call? Command, request and order sentences. Third, interrogative sentences, they are called question sentences. There also we have two types. I explained everything with the good examples. And the last one, exclamatory sentences. So they are called a functional classification of sentences. In the second part of this video class, I will explain you the types of sentences. What are the types of sentences? How this classification is done by the grammarians. Till that, have a nice day, children. Wait for the second part of this video class. Have a nice day. Okay, children, I would like to welcome to the second part of this video class. In the second part, I am going to explain you the types of sentences. In the first part, I explained you kinds of sentences. In the second part, I am going to explain you the types of sentences. Types of sentences are done by the grammarians based on the structure of a sentence. The first part, that is, kinds are made, or these sentences are classified based on the function. But these types of sentences are done based on the structure. Based on the structure, sentences are classified into three types. One is simple sentence. Second one, compound sentence. Simple sentence, compound sentence. Third one, complex sentence. So they are called the types of sentences. These classification of sentences are done based on the structure of a sentence. Okay, fine. Then what is simple sentence and how it is framed? Simple sentence is a sentence which is consisting of only one finite verb and one independent class. Not dependent class, one independent class. Let me explain simple sentence. What is simple sentence? Simple sentence is a kind of a sentence which is consisting of one subject, one finite verb one finite verb and only one thought or idea it has. Only one thought or idea it has, and it has only one independent class. That is the structure of a simple sentence. So a simple sentence is consisting of only one finite verb, and it gives you only one main idea. That is very important. That is the structure of a simple sentence. Sometimes a simple sentence may have phrase or may not have phrase. It depends upon the structure. For example, I love my country. This is a simple sentence. Example for simple sentence. I love my country. And he is playing football in the ground. This love is a finite verb. This sentence has only one finite verb. It gives you only one main idea. Therefore, this sentence is called a simple sentence. See, he is playing football in the ground. He is playing football in the ground. You have to understand one thing, children, clearly. A simple sentence need not be very short. Sometimes a simple sentence may be very long. But only criteria, it should have only one finite verb. It should give only one common idea. That is the main criteria of this simple sentence. It gives you only one main sentence, only one main idea. Okay. For example, a simple sentence may have sometimes two subjects. Sometimes a simple sentence may have two objects also. Wow. Is it possible? Yes, of course. See, I'll give you examples from your text and I will explain. Sometimes a simple sentence may have two subjects. Sometimes a simple sentence may have two objects also. The children and their mother are returning from the market. The children and their mothers. See the sentence, the children and their mothers are returning actually from the market, Though here the children and their mothers, they have two subjects, but they have a common finite verb, are returning. They have a common verb, are returning. Only one main idea is there. They are coming back. That is the only main idea. Therefore, this sentence is a simple sentence. Example for simple sentence. So don't misunderstood that a simple sentence always is very short in its form. Not like that. A simple sentence sometimes may have two subjects. A simple sentence sometimes may have two objects. Nothing is wrong in it. But they should have only one main idea. They should have only one finite verb. That's important. Okay, fine. See, I will give you two objects. She gave me a gift. He gave me a gift. See this sentence? This is an example for simple sentence. Here he is subject to gave verb, finite verb, only one verb, finite verb we have, but two objects we have in the sentence. A gift as well as me. So a simple sentence may have two subjects like this. A simple sentence sometimes may have two objects also, but they have only one finite verb. They convey only one main idea. That is the important criteria. If it is satisfies such criteria, then it is called a simple sentence. See, I will give you one long sentence as an example for simple sentence. The length of the sentence. Just watch over it. The girl with the long plight. The girl with the long plight. The girl with the long plight is my next door neighbor. Is my next door neighbor. This is an example for simple sentence. Here what is with a phrase. Here the girl with the long plight is a phrase. This is an adjectival phrase because it describes a noun, antecedent girl. Therefore, this is an example for a simple sentence. So, a simple sentence may have a long phrases like this, but they have only one independent class. That is the criteria. They should have only one main idea. They should have only one finite verb. If it satisfies all these criteria, then they may be called as a simple sentence. Okay. A simple sentence is not always short in length. The baby, happy in its own world of innocence, is sleepy with a smile. And so another sentence, good sentence is given in your text, children. Let me write the sentence on the board and I will explain. You too can enjoy. See the nature of the sentence. See the baby, happy in its own world of innocence. The baby, happy in its own world of innocence. In its own world of innocence, is sleeping with a smile on its face. With a smile on its face. See the baby, happy in its own world of innocence. Up to this subject, how was the baby? The baby was so happy of its own world of innocence. And then predicate starts from here. Is sleeping is the only finite verb. It's the only verb we have. Sleeping is a present participle. So with a smile on its face, predicate. So this is an example for simple sentence. Sometimes a simple sentence may have phrases. See, how can a simple sentence may have the phrases? See, structural classification. See the chart. Structural classification of sentences: simple, compound and complex sentences. So these are all the types of sentences: simple sentence, compound sentence and a complex sentence. Now you are learning simple sentences. Now I am giving you explanation for the simple sentence, its structure and various kinds of simple sentences also. And be with me, children, and then see simple sentences. So simple sentences may have phrases. Simple sentences may or may not have phrases. I will show you. See simple sentences with phrases. You can have, see these simple sentences. You may have these phrases: being, due to, see, being, due to, owing to. First line, a simple sentence may start with these phrases also. What is the first one? Being. Second one, due to. Third one is owing to. So, being, due to, owing to. So, a simple sentence may begin with this phrase. Then what are the phrases given in the second line? On account of, because of. So, on account of, because of. A simple sentence may begin with these phrases also. On account of, because of. Then what's the third one? In the event of. In the third line, what the phrase they have given? In the event of. Can you see this chart clearly, children? In the event of. You too can frame a chart like this and you can paste it on the wall of your house. Whenever you have time, you can frame sentences using these phrases also. Then, in spite of, last one, and then in case of. In spite of, in case of. So, all these phrases, with these phrases also you can frame simple sentences. Being, due to, owing to, on account of, because of, in the event of, in spite of and in case of. So these phrases we use to frame simple sentences, or otherwise you can say a simple sentence may begin with these phrases. I'll give you one example. See, being poor, he cannot continue his studies. This is an example for simple sentence. Being poor, he cannot continue his studies. See, due to his poverty, he cannot continue his studies. Due to his poverty, he cannot continue his studies. Owing to his ill health, he cannot attend the meet. See, being poor, he cannot continue his studies. Due to his poverty, he cannot continue his studies. Owing to his ill health, he cannot attend the class. On account of his ill health, he cannot attend the meeting today. Because of heavy traffic, he cannot reach the place in time. Because of the heavy traffic, he cannot reach the place in time. In the event of you working hard, you can get good marks. I will give you example. I will give you sentences also which will help you to understand these phrases well. Because of heavy traffic, he cannot reach the place in time. So you can say sentences like this. In the event of you are working hard, you can score centum in maths. So you can frame sentences, simple sentences like this using the phrases in the beginning of a sentence. In spite of his hard work, he cannot get good marks. In spite of his answering all the questions, he cannot get centum in mathematics. In case of working hard, in case of answering all questions, you can get good marks. So being, due to, owing to, on account of, because of, in the event of, in spite of, in case of. Using all these phrases, you can frame simple sentences. Okay, children? I hope now you can get a clear idea about the simple sentences and the structure of a simple sentences, how it is formed, how it is used in spoken and written form. Okay, fine. Next, let me explain the compound sentence. What is the structure of a compound sentence, how it is framed? Yeah, I will give you example for compound sentence also. A compound sentence is consisting of two main classes or two independent classes. That is the structure of a compound sentence. Compound sentence. A compound sentence is consisting of two main classes, or otherwise you can call two independent classes. And these two independent classes are connected by coordinating conjunctions. So such types of sentences are called compound. So what are all the coordinating conjunctions? Are, so, and so, yet, but, or else, otherwise, then, and at once, immediate, and at once. So you may have these types of conjunctions, connectors or coordinating conjunctions which connects two independent classes. When two independent classes are connected with the help of these coordinating conjunctions, what you get is called a compound sentence. Okay, so a compound sentence is, see, look this chart, and compound sentence, and so, see, compound sentence, and so, because, so, or else, or then. So mostly these compound sentences we use this coordinating conjunctions. I will give you one or two examples for this compound sentences. Could you follow me, children? So you just to make a note of it. A compound sentence is consisting of two main classes. Each class has an independent finite verb. A compound sentence consisting of two or more independent classes sometimes, but they are all joined together by a conjunction. One of them is, see, main class, while others are coordinated to the main class. They are called coordinate classes. Such coordinate classes are of equal ranks and can convey complete meaning by themselves. So, coordinating conjunctions. Besides these coordinating conjunctions, we have some correlative conjunctions also. I will give you next the list of correlative conjunctions which help us to frame compound sentences. See, or work hard, or you will fail. Work hard, or you will fail. See this sentence, work hard is an independent class, you will fail is another independent class. It has its own finite verb. It has its own finite verb. These two independent classes stand by themselves and they are connected by the coordinating conjunction or, therefore they are called a compound sentence. So, he prepared well, so he got good marks. He prepared well. He wrote all questions. He wrote answer for all questions. So he got good marks. And so is also the same effect. This is also example for coordinating conjunction. So he prepared well. He answered all questions. He got good marks. Both are connected by the coordinating conjunction so. So this is an example for compound sentence. See, I'll give you some more examples for compound sentence. Yet he is rich, but he never helps anyone. See this example. When you like to join two independent classes of the same idea, when two independent classes convey the same idea, then they can be connected by using the coordinating conjunction and. See, he is good and he is honest. He is honest and he is clever. So when both the classes have the same idea, when both the classes convey the same idea, then they can be connected better by using the coordinating conjunction and. But if the ideas are contrast to each other, then you have to use the connecting word but. See, he is rich, but he never helps anyone. Otherwise, see, he is poor. He is poor, but he helps everyone. Here the ideas are contrast. Poor man cannot help others. That is a general idea. But in contrast to that general idea, he comes forward to help others. Therefore, we use these two sentences by using the coordinating conjunction but. So when ideas are contrast with each other, you have to use the connecting word but or else. Eat well or you will be sick. Eat well or you will be sick. Example, or else. Drink more water or you will suffer from indigestion. So or else. Answer all questions. Otherwise, you cannot get sent up in the questions. Then the child saw its mother and at once it smiled. The child saw its mother and at once it smiled. Then he completed his work. He completed his work and then he went out to play. And then he went out to play. Okay, so here I have given you more and more examples for compound sentences using the coordinating conjunctions. So work hard or you cannot get pass. There was a heavy traffic, so he came late. And so he came late. He was honest and so everyone liked him. Yet he was poor, but he helps others. He is rich, but he never helps others. Or else, in case of your working hard, you will pass. In the same way, work hard or else you will not get pass. Otherwise, then he completed his work and then he went out to play. Then or and then. See, the minister came and at once the crowd cheered him. Okay, the train came and at once passengers rushed in. The child saw its mother and at once it smiled. So, from these examples, now you come to a conclusion or you can understand well that a compound sentence is consisting of two independent classes. They are connected by the coordinating conjunction or so and so, yet, but, or else, otherwise, then and at once. And besides this coordinating conjunction, we have one more type of conjunctions. They are called correlative conjunctions. Correlative conjunctions, or otherwise they are called correlative conjunctions. These conjunctions are also helped to frame compound sentences, not only but also. Not only but also. Then either or, neither nor. Either or, neither nor. So these conjunctions are called correlative conjunctions. Correlative conjunctions. These correlative conjunctions are used to frame compound sentences. He went home and he took rest. See, both Mohan and Sohan came to the party. And then either or. She both reads and speaks French. See, she both reads and speaks French. So example for correlative conjunction, she both reads and speaks French. Either Mohan or Karan was present there. Either Mohan or Sohan. Either Mohan or Sohan came to the party. Okay, like that. Either I will pick you up or your father will pick you. See, one more example. Either I will pick you up. Either I will pick you up or your father will pick you up, or your father will pick you up. So example, for common sentences, here we have used correlative conjunctions. She both reads and speaks French. Either Mohan or Sohan came to the party. Either I will pick you up or your father will pick you up. For neither nor, neither he studies nor watches TV programs. I'll give you one more example. For neither nor, Neither he studies nor watches. See, neither he studies nor watches TV program. Nor watches TV program. So neither nor. So neither he studies nor watches. Here both are connected. Two main frames, two main ideas are there. One is studying, another one is watching. We have two finite verbs. They are connected by the correlative conjunction neither nor. All these things should be satisfied. Then only you can call such types of sentences as compound sentence. Okay, fine. Next, the last part of this program, that is complex sentence. What do you mean by complex sentence? The third type of a sentence based on the structure is complex sentence. In the complex sentence, we have only one main class. A complex sentence consists of only one main class with one or more than one subordinate classes. A sentence having only one independent class or principal class and one or more dependent class or subordinate classes is called a complex sentence. A complex sentence contains at least two finite verbs. Okay. So what is the structure? Only one principal class, or this is otherwise it is called a main class. In the complex sentence, we have only one main class. We have more than one subordinate classes. More than one subordinate classes in the complex sentence. So this is the structure of a complex sentences. These subordinate classes depends upon the main classes to complete its sense. That's the structure of a complex sentence. So a complex sentence is one which contains one main class and one or more subordinate classes. The classes are joined using subordinate conjunctions or relative pronouns. Mostly these subordinate classes are connected with the main classes by using the subordinating conjunctions. I will show you the subordinate. I will write the subordinating conjunctions as, since, though, although, even though, as, since, though, although, even though, if, unless, as soon as, after. So using all these subordinating conjunctions, we can frame complex sentences. These subordinating conjunctions connect the main class or the principal class with other subordinate classes. So we call these sentences as complex sentence. Okay, I will give you one example for each subordinate conjunctions. For example, so in the complex sentence, you have only one principal class or main class and you have more than one subordinate classes. The subordinate classes are connected with the principal or main class with these subordinating conjunctions as he is unwell, he cannot attend school today. See? As he is very hungry, he takes all food. As he is unwell, as he is suffering from fever, he cannot attend the school today. Normally we write leave letters when we state something, when we give false reasons to get, isn't it, children, to really just for fun I used to say, to get the leave from the class teachers or from the principal sir. You used to write leave letters like this: as I am suffering from stomachache, as I am suffering from fever, I am not able to attend the class today, so give me leave today. Like that you would like to ask from your principal stating the reasons. Okay, so subordinating actually these conjunctions we use to connect, see, with the subordinate class with the main class. As he is unwell, he cannot attend the school today. Since it is Bant. Since it is Bant today, all shops are remain closed. Since it is Bandh today, all shops remain closed. Though he is, see, though he is very weak, he can run fast. Though he is very weak, he can run fast. Although, even though. So you can use the same thing. Though he is very weak, he can run fast. Though he is very dull, he can speak English well. Although it is rainy, he can manage to go there. Even though it is very dark outside, he can drive the vehicle without any disturbance. Okay, like that you can frame complex sentences. If you work hard, comma, you will pass. If you work hard, you will pass. Unless, see, if you are honest, everyone will respect you. In all these sentences, though he is very weak is a subordinating clause. He can run fast is the main clause. If you work hard is a subordinating clause. Or dependent clause, we will pass is the main clause. If you are honest is a subordinating clause. Everyone will respect you is the main clause. So subordinate clause depends upon the main clause for the completion of its meaning. That is the structure of a complex sentence. In the complex sentence, there is only one main classes with one or more subordinating classes, but all these subordinating classes are connected with the main class with the help of the subordinating conjunctions. Unless you speak well, no one will respect you. Unless you speak well, no one will respect you. So that's important. Unless you work hard, you will not get anything. Unless you answer all the questions, you will not get good marks. Unless you study well, you will not get pass. Like that. Though he is very poor, he helps everyone. Though he is very poor, he helps everyone. Like that. So you can frame complex sentences. So let me sum it up, children. So complex sentence is a sentence which is consisting of only one main class with one or more than two subordinate classes. All these subordinate classes are connected with the principal or main class with the help of the subordinating conjunctions. That's a structure of a complex sentence. So let me sum up. Based on the structure, sentences are classified into three types: a simple sentence, compound sentence, and complex sentence. Simple sentence is consisting of only one independent class. It has only one main idea. It has only one finite verb. Sometimes it may have only one subject, or it may have more than one subject. Sometimes it may have one object. Sometimes it may have more than one object, but it should have only one main idea. It should have only one main or only one finite verb. That's important. That is the nature of a simple sentence. Sometimes simple sentence may have phrase or may not have phrase. What are the phrases? On account of, in spite of, in the event of, due to, because of, on account of. These are all the phrases with which a simple sentence may begin. Okay, fine. Next, compound sentence. In the compound sentences, we have two independent clauses. They are connected by coordinating conjunctions and correlative conjunctions. What are all the coordinating conjunctions? And so, but, yet, or else, otherwise, then, and at once, and immediately. These are all the correlative conjunctions with the help of which two independent classes are connected with each other, and we can frame compound sentences. Okay, fine. Then correlative conjunctions, not only but also, either or, neither nor. So these are all the correlative conjunctions we can use these correlative conjunctions also to connect to independent classes to form compound sentences. The last one, complex sentence. As the name itself says, the complex sentence is a bit difficult. It's because it has a complex structure. In the complex sentence, we have only one main classes. We have more than one or two two dependent classes. So these dependent classes or the subordinate classes depends upon the main class or the principal class for the completion of its meaning. These complex sentences, in the complex sentence, the main class is connected with the subordinate classes with the help of the subordinate conjunctions as, since, if, unless, though, although, even though, no sooner, as soon as, okay, like that. So, once again I would like to so in today's video class, the first part you have learned kinds, the second part you have learned types. See, interrogatives. Let me show you the charts once again. Interrogative. Then simple sentences which begins with these phrases. Simple sentences which begins with these phrases. And the interrogative sentences with the help of these verbs we can frame interrogative sentences. Then statements, kinds, statements. Then this is a chart, exclamation. The words which shows exclamation. Then this is a compound sentences. These coordinating conjunctions are used to frame compound sentences. Then these are the types of sentences, structural classification, simple, compound and complex. Then this big chart shows imperatives, kinds of imperatives, order, command, request, advice, directions and instructions. And then the last one, sentences, kinds of statements, interrogative, imperative and exclamatory. So far now I hope children you have learned well kinds of sentences and the types of sentences and all the exercises which were given in your Collins English grammar and composition, both 7th and 8th. It is common for both 7th and 8th standard students. Try to solve the exercises given in the textbook based on the things which you have learned in today's video class. If you have any doubts, and you are free to call me at any time, and till I get answers for all the questions from you, I would like to say best wishes to you children. Advance happy Pongal. Thank you children. Have a nice day.